It's all yours, Chloe.
Thanks. Thanks, Barbara. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all here online today. So I just want to start with a few housekeeping things, just in case anyone's missed out on them. So first of all, please do mute your microphones so that we can reduce the feedback and weird screechy noises that we might get, and the button is just at the top here. There's a button here that says attachments as well. I didn't manage to put the attachments in, but I will send all of those around by email afterwards. And then there's the instant message chat window at the bottom, which most of you, I think, have found now. If you've got any questions as we're going along throughout the webinar, or any comments, please just type them in that box, and then Barbara or myself will be able to respond to those in due course. At some point as well, I'm going to share a whiteboard. For you to contribute to this, you just select this typing tool at the bottom here, click on that, and then just click and type anywhere within the whiteboard, and we'll all be able to see all of the contributions that everyone's making. Okay, so this is the first webinar in our series this term, and the topic is SoundCloud, as you already know. So first of all, just to get an idea, I'd like to find out what you already know. So I'm just going to share a poll with you, and you just need to click on.
My voice is coming out of here, not coming through my headphones. Something else is screwed up. Okay.
Okay, it seems my poll has disappeared. I'd set up carefully beforehand, but never fear. If you could just type into the box, into the instant message chat box at the bottom, have you or anyone you know used or heard of SoundCloud before? Just a yes or a no, and if yes, then any ideas what it was used for? Okay, we've got a few no's coming through. I don't have any idea, someone says. A few more people typing messages. Maybe, Greg, okay. Educational. Any usage is the answer to that, any usage. Okay, heard of it, not used it. Brilliant. Okay, thanks very much. Okay. So some of you have heard of it, some of you haven't, and I hope that what I'm going to tell you today then is going to be useful for you. Can everyone still see my screen now, the notebook file? Is that a yes, Barbara?
Yes, I think so. I can see it, yeah.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. All right, so what is SoundCloud? Basically, it's a web-based cloud where you can store sounds. They call them sounds, basically any audio file. You can store them on here in your own account, and you can share your files with other users if you choose to do that. So, for example, you find on SoundCloud a lot of new artists who promote their work on there, and they do it there because it's free, so it's a good channel of distribution for new recording artists to put their songs up there, and people can access them, and then they build a following online. And of course, because of that, it means that you can discover new things like new music, new content, all sorts of things. It's not exclusively music, as we will see. So I'm going to start off with a few navigation pieces of information to give you a sense of how the site is built and how it works. So when you first log into your SoundCloud account, you'll see this page. They call it the stream. It's pretty much like a feed that you would get on Facebook, or a sort of welcome page. So on the home page here, the stream, you can see your own sounds, and like I said, they might be public or private, but you can see them regardless on the stream. You can also see sounds from the people you follow. This is my friend Aaron, and he has recorded some of his songs that he's uploaded, so I'm following him, and then this pops up in my stream whenever he uploads something new. And you also see on the right-hand side suggested content, so they're suggesting maybe popular things, popular artists or users who have already got a lot of followers and they think you might be interested in them. Secondly, you can see also this Explore tab here at the top. the Explore tab helps you to find content, so you can search it according to the category that's on the left-hand side here, or by featured content. And like I said, it's not exclusively music. You can see some music there, but you can also see something called storytelling. Also, you find on here things like podcasts. For example, LSE, who produce a lot of podcasts from their lectures, have got a channel on SoundCloud. So you can find a lot of other content which could be useful for your personal use or to use in class, whichever. If you're looking around it and you think, oh my goodness, how do I do this? What do I do? There is a help function as well. So at the top of all of the screens, you've got this bar running across, and right on the right-hand side is a button that says More. When you click that, you get this drop down here with a help button there. So it works in the way that many of them do, and you just type in your question or the start of it, and then it brings up, hopefully, the answer that you were looking for. And there's quite a lot of information in there actually, so it's quite a useful feature that they've got. So once you've got started with SoundCloud and you want to navigate your way around, you can find your recordings, the ones that you've already added, by going to your profile, which again I've got a picture on there, which goes to my profile, and then you just select profile from this list, and then it takes you to your profile page. On your profile page, you can see all of the tracks that you've recorded, the sound files that look like that with your profile picture, whatever you choose on it. And you can also see a playlist, and you can see that there's a difference in the icon. It looks kind of like a stack of things, one on top of the other. That's a playlist, or a kind of a folder, where you can keep several different items together in one place so that you can better organize the sounds that are in your account. When you click on that folder or playlist within SoundCloud, you can see underneath that it lists some of the tracks that are there in the playlist. These are things that I used when I was doing my diploma in TESOL, so I've just lumped them all together so that I know that's all relating to that. Okay, so we're going to move on now, and I want to tell you a bit about some of the uses that I've thought of, or that Rui and I have thought of. And here I have to give Rui credit, because this is largely based on a presentation that Rui and I planned and delivered together last year at Languages Live. So thank you, Rui, for sharing your ideas with me. So some of the uses that we've thought of, starting with students, benefits for students, are that students can use SoundCloud to record audio themselves, so they can record themselves speaking, they can upload it, they can store it in their account, they can listen back later. Obviously this will give them a chance to evaluate their performance, hopefully perfect their performance, and they might be inclined to kind of redo some things or practice more. And it also gives them a chance to monitor their long-term progress, so they can look back at something they did a month or 2 or 3 months ago and compare it to what they're producing now. Obviously this fits quite well with an IELTS course where the students would need to have that speaking practice in a chunk. For teachers, there's also several benefits. You can follow your students. Like I said, I follow my friend who's a musician. You can also follow your students, so you can see the audio files that your students are uploading. You can listen to those, and you can give comments and feedback on what you hear your students say. You could use it to set homework tasks. So quite often in class it's quite difficult if students are doing a speaking activity, especially with big classes. It's hard for you to get around and listen to all of them speak, and it's hard for you to listen to all of them speaking for the whole time they're speaking. So you might miss some important things that they're saying, you might miss some repeated errors, or you just might not have enough of a chance to really evaluate their performance at that time. So it's quite useful if they can go home and do this at home, and then you can listen to it later and give some really full feedback. And obviously that would be good if you wanted to do a mock exam with them or something. Another thing that teachers could use SoundCloud for is to record audio for listening practice. As I said, I used it when I was doing my diploma, and I used it to make my own listening materials. So you could record something and ask your students to listen to it maybe at home, and then they do some task that's connected to that. So it can be a good way for you to record and store your own things and to distribute them within your between your students. And finally, I find it's quite a good way to encourage independence in your students, because they really then have responsibility for their own profile, for their own managing their own sounds, and for uploading things themselves. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about how to use SoundCloud, and it really is very easy. It's easy for me to say that, but I promise it is easy. I'm going to show you briefly now the two main ways that it works, and I will send more in detail guides of how to around later, so you'll get a step-by-step guide of how to create your recordings. So if you're using SoundCloud on your laptop, computer-based, you just go to this top bar again and click on Upload, and from there it gives you a choice to either choose some files to upload or start a new recording. So if you've got something already recorded that you want to put on there, maybe it's a pre-recorded thing from a course that's already been written, or you already made it, you can upload it there, or you can start a new recording and record it directly with your computer. There's a few steps that come after that, but basically it's just clicking on a record button and then choosing to save and upload the file. So that's the computer-based version. There's another option which you might find is more appealing for you and maybe for your students, and that is to use a smartphone. So you can download the SoundCloud app onto your smartphone, and then when you open up the app, you go to the bottom right icon here, the three dots in the corner, and select Record at the top. And then you just get this big record button, kind of a target button here. You click record, say what you want to say, and then stop the recording and upload it directly from there. So that might be particularly convenient for your students if they're using it in class or at home. I often find it's quite a battle to get students to kind of sit down somewhere and actually put their efforts into doing something. So if they've got it right there on their phones, I hope maybe they might be a bit more inclined to do that. It might feel a bit easier for them. So as I said, again, there's some instructions to come for both of those methods that go into a bit more detail. Okay, so I would like to ask you now, before we move on, to share some ideas about how you think you might be able to use SoundCloud in your classes. Some of us are English teachers, but some of us aren't, and I'm an English teacher and I don't know much about the other subjects and what you teach. So I'm going to share this whiteboard here, and can you, is it sharing that? There it is. So there's the whiteboard. Okay, great. So if you want to, you can just click on the text icon there, type anywhere within the whiteboard. Some of you are putting in the chat window, that's fine as well. So radio shows, great, podcast. LSE, Greg, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, rehearse presentations, that can be really useful for them as well. That's nice, Jerry. Evidence of learner outcomes. Brilliant, yeah. Wow, this is fantastic. Lots of fantastic ideas. Learning journal for UG1 students. That sounds interesting. I'm teaching that. Who's writing that? I'm going to call you and get some ideas. Brilliant. Yeah, recorded content, a good addition. Fantastic. So many great ideas. Oh, for flipped learning, yeah, definitely we can add that into the project. So many ideas already that we can use it for. I'm going to show you a few that I'd thought of in particular for English, because as I said, I'm an English teacher, so I'm going to share my desktop again. Okay, so the things that I thought it could work especially well with are for Foundation English 1, the speaking tasks that they do. There's 2 speaking tasks on the syllabus at the moment. There's discussion and consensus tasks in Phase 2 that the students have to do. They could easily record that in class and then listen back and see how they did in the discussion. For the debate in Phase 3, and as I said before, for IELTS speaking preparation, I'm sure that there's also many other things in many other subjects that we can use this for. So now I would like to present you with some tasks to get you started with SoundCloud. So first of all, I would like you, after this webinar, homework if you like, to go to SoundCloud and create your account. You just sign up with your email address and password. I'd like you to find and follow me. So if you go to that search window at the top of the page, put in my name, or this is my nickname, on SoundCloud, and find me there, and then there's a button you'll see to follow me, and I'll attach instructions again on searching for people on SoundCloud. Third thing is to listen to my sound. I've specially created a task for you. I've created a sound in a folder or in a playlist called SoundCloud Webinar, especially for you. So you have to find it and listen to it in order to find the following instructions after that to find out what to do next. Okay, so that brings me to the end of my webinar. Does anyone have any questions or comments that they'd like to share? I'm going to go back to the link window now so that I can see what you're all writing. Great, thank you, Greg. Mini lectures with no visual clues. Yeah, I like that. Belinda, copyright issues when you're sharing. If it's anything you're creating yourself and you're giving permission for other people to use it, then obviously there's no copyright issues. But, you know, I wouldn't recommend uploading or sharing anything that's been published by anyone else. But certainly anything that you create or the students create, you can upload it and share it, no problems. You'll see actually when you come to the upload page, you can choose your license. So I think the default is all rights reserved, but you can change it if you want to. Yeah, that was a good question, thank you. Can you loop music? Oh gosh, I'm not sure, Helen. I've never tried it with music. I don't know if it's usable for kind of editing in that way and looping things around. Maybe you'd need some other software. I think maybe you can certainly upload a file that's already been created, but I'm not sure about that. Do weekly on their phones, yeah, Rui, I think that's a great idea. Definitely something to do regularly. How long will the material remain accessible? Thank you, Belinda. On SoundCloud, there's no kind of expiry date to it. I checked if there's a limit as to how much you can upload. If you sign up for a free account, a standard account, they give you 120 minutes worth of audio recordings. So you can upload, oh, thank you, Greg, yeah, you can upload whatever you want to upload, and as soon as it hits 120 minutes, it'll tell you you're running out of space. And then after that, it will start to kind of get rid of the older things. Now, from what I found on the FAQs, those older things are still kind of accessible to you. They're not deleted completely, but they're kind of greyed out. so they don't appear on your profile page and so on. It also says the maximum you can upload is 6 hours 45 minutes per track, but I can't imagine that anyone would want to do such a marathon discussion. Record using an ordinary headset with mic, yeah, absolutely. Using a laptop or a flip cam, brilliant. If I've missed your question, feel free to type it in there again. These are coming through pretty fast. Yeah, if you've got a laptop that you can use in the classroom, that's probably the easiest way to do it, I would imagine, if you don't have a smartphone. But hopefully the idea is if you can get your students set up with it. A lot of students, I know not all of them, but a lot of students will have smartphones, and so you might be able to ask one of them to record it for you. I mean, you might want to experiment with this. You might want to create one SoundCloud account for the whole class that everyone can access, for the purpose of recording discussions and things like that. You might want to do it that way.
Okay, everybody, we've gone 2 minutes over our 20 minutes, but the questions have been fantastic, and so have all the ideas that we've been sharing. Thanks so much. Chloe, everybody, I'm sure, will join me in saying thank you so much for preparing this, sharing your good ideas, and just being brave enough to do a webinar for the very first time. We really thank you for it.
Well, thank you all very much. Brilliant ideas.
Oh, they're such good ideas. This is great. I'm going to stop the recording now, everybody, and we're going to upload the recording to YouTube, and then Chloe will send it to you, a link to it to you, so you can watch it again, and she'll send you some wonderful sheets that she has prepared but didn't manage to get attached to this webinar. So they'll all be coming your way very soon. So I'm just going to stop the recording now.
Thank you, Barbara. Thanks for being my tech support, question catcher and welcomer and greeter.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and please, everyone, if you do try this out, please let me know how it goes. You know, if you've thought of any other ways to use it or any other, like group projects or, you know, whatever. Let us know how it goes, because I'd be really interested to hear.